Hi everyone, my name's Nicola Wood and I'm the founder of Hair Made Easy. Welcome to our first ever podcast. We're joined today with 5 of the most amazing hair extension specialists, best in the industry, top of the game. Our first guest is joining us all the way from LA. Welcome, Sam.
Hello.
Lovely to see you. How are you doing?
I am so good. So happy to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. Absolutely love it. So could you just tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Of course I can. So I'm Sam. You can find me on Instagram, @samhair. And I am originally from London. Actually, I was born in Manchester. I don't think you guys know that about me, but I was born in Bolton. So yeah, I'm a Bolton girl, but I moved to London. I did hair in London for many, many years. And then I moved to America. So I'm actually based in Los Angeles. And I have my own hair salon here and I'm a hair extension specialist. I'm also an educator for Bellamy Professional. And I have been doing hair extensions for over 10 years and I absolutely love it. And I think I've definitely found a new passion within hair extension education. So I'm really excited to talk to you about that today and just to get the conversation flowing.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Jaclyn, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. So I'm Jaclyn Moss. I have a hair extension salon in central Scotland in a little town called Alloa. And then directly above it, I've got my academy where I host all my education upstairs in the salon. So I've been doing hair extensions now for just about 12 years. Absolutely love it. I found my niche, especially with mesh integration. I absolutely love it. I've done some incredible education this year, some international classes and taught hair extension specialists all over the world this year. So it's been a really special year. So I'm just really grateful to be here.
Oh, lovely. Thanks for joining us, Jaclyn. Emily?
Hello. My name's Emily Jane. I have been doing extensions for 15 years. I've been teaching for 8. Like what Jaclyn said, I absolutely love training. I've trained students all over the UK, the Channel Islands. I go to a lot of London top salons and train all of their staff there. My passion is bespoke training, catered to who I'm going to be working with. And I just absolutely love it. And my main aim is to make sure that there's some great training out there.
Love that. Thanks, Emily. Leanne?
Hi, I'm Leanne Godfrey and I have a salon in Nottingham. I've been doing extensions for about 13 years and I've been training for about 6. So I originally started with keratin bonds and they have my heart. So that's what I find I love doing the most, really.
Love that. Amazing. Sienna?
Yeah, I'm Sienna Wetterland and I have a salon with my parents in a place called Attleborough, which is near Norwich. I've been doing hairdressing for 13 years and hairdressing for 13 years and hair extensions for 12. I absolutely love tape extensions, but I first started with microbeads, but I've transitioned and specialised in tapes. And yeah, I just love doing that.
Love that. Okay, amazing. So I think what we can do is just get a little bit of a background into where you've started, where you're at now. So how did you get started, Sam, in the hair extension industry? What happened to get you started?
Okay, so I was at uni and I wanted to do hair and I saw a course online for hair extensions and it was a 1-day course and I took the course and I loved it and I wanted to drop out of uni and my mum and dad were like, no, get your degree. So I stayed, got my degree and I did hair extensions on the side. That was like my side hustle. And then it just evolved into me doing it full time. And then I actually went and I got my MVQ after at uni. I was an apprentice in salons and then I just worked my way up and I just found that hair extensions was something that I always felt like I was drawn back to. And then I just pursued it. It was a very organic thing, very natural. I never put too much pressure on it. I think it just kind of happened. And then I find that's the way that I work best. If I just let things happen, it will grow into something bigger than you could ever imagine. And now I'm here.
Love that. Jaclyn, do you want to give us a bit of a background onto where you started and why you started?
Yeah, pretty similar story to Sam. I was like, my mum was like, you're not doing hair like back then. And I actually think it was Geordie Shore that changed the industry because everybody wanted longer hair, they wanted thicker hair. And then, yeah, I decided to just go and do my qualifications behind my mum's back. And now I'm like, She gets her hair extensions done. And it was the same. I got to a stage, I was pregnant with my son, and it was just like, I want to go all in on this. So I found a little salon on Gumtree, and it all just started from there, and progressively everything's just grown so naturally, and I absolutely love it. And it's just, education is my passion, and I just feel like everybody's so deserving of having an amazing business, and if I can be there to support them with that, then it's amazing.
And I think sometimes if you're that passionate about something, you'll make it happen anyway, no matter what your family and friends are saying. You know, the industry didn't have a good rep years ago, and it wasn't something that was ever expected of you to do if you're going to be successful, because it was just something that people that weren't very intelligent did years and years ago. So it's just, you know, it's just nice to see how everybody's evolved from that. Emily?
I'm exactly the same as you two. I was at uni in London, and my mum and dad, when I told them that I wanted to go and do hair extensions, my dad was so upset, and he was just like, I can't believe we've spent all this money for you to go to London and do all this amazing stuff, and you want to go and do hair. I was like, Dad, I just love the way it makes people feel. And my mum's best friend, she's quite well known in the hair loss industry. Lucinda Ellery? Yeah, she I went to one of her salons, and I saw kind of the way that they were working and stuff, and I thought, I just want to do this. I'm fed up of feeling like I'm just not good enough at uni. And, you know, I was doing graphic design, and I just didn't really feel like a flow in it. But I'm a people person, and I just loved working with people. So I just went against them, and now they say that they're so proud of me, of how far I've got. And I'm just like, I told you. I'd make something of it.
What got you started, Leanne?
Well, I worked in salons when I was like 13, 14 as sort of like Saturday girl and everything like that. And then did my apprenticeship. And it was when I was doing my apprenticeship, they were training with Balmain hair. And it was just to kind of, well, you're in the salon on the day, you might as well pop in with the course kind of thing. So I learned obviously how to do it with Balmain, and then I'd go back to college and I'd be like, guys, I can do hair extensions. And I'd buy like the cheapest hair. It was like £200, like it was so cheap. And then literally it was like on Facebook, and it just grew really organically. It was never something I actually set out to do, hair extensions. I loved the hairdressing side of it. But yeah, it was one of them things that I just kind of did someone, then it was like recommendation, and it just grew and grew and grew. And then the education side of it just came with like me doing courses. And then I was like, I feel like I came away not satisfied. So then I was like, I want to give everything that I've learned and teach how I wanted to be taught, kind of thing. So yeah, here I am.
So I actually had a different experience compared to yourselves, because my parents were really for me to learn hairdressing and go into learn hair extensions. But I actually done quite well with my GCSEs, which was actually a bit of a surprise. And I was really good at science, and I thought, actually, maybe I should go to university. And my parents were like, no, go and learn a trade. Like, that's going to be so much better for you. You can't, you know, you'll always have a job if you've got a trade. And I thought, well, until I figure it out, I'll go and learn hairdressing. And so I went to college, and being in the salon and watching it, like as a child, I felt like I knew a lot without actually doing it. And I kind of lost that little bit of passion for it, because I thought, well, I know how to do it, just don't actually physically do it. So it wasn't that exciting. But once you start getting on with like doing clients, I then ignited that passion. I was like, yeah, this is for me. This is my calling. I actually don't want to go to university. And everyone was really happy that I pursued it. So yeah, it ended up okay.
Oh, I bet, absolutely. So Sam, if you tell us about your biggest career achievement so far.
I think my biggest achievement would be moving to Los Angeles and opening a salon. It's definitely like a very surreal moment. So a lot of you might not know, I did own a salon before, and it kind of went south. I never wanted to open a salon again. I'm like, I'm done. I actually didn't even want to do hair. And then I think I just took a breather and was like, you know what? I can't let bad things that have happened to me stop me from following my dream. And then I definitely think having my son inspired me, motivated me. I think when I had my son, I thought it was like the end. And I think a lot of mums feel that. They think you're going to have a child, your career's over, you're done. But actually, Alfie is my biggest motivation, and everything I do is for him. And it keeps me going and it keeps me motivated. And of course, I love what I do and I love making people happy. I'm such a people pleaser. So I feel like that is my biggest motivation. And I don't know, my son.
Yeah, that's amazing. Love that. Love that. Jaclyn, what would you say yours is?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a mum of 2 boys as well, and all about my family. And yeah, I want to look back and think, I want to teach my kids that in order to get the nice things in life, that you do have to work hard and things aren't handed on a plate and you can't be silver spooned, you know. And I just think that is a good trait to teach your children, that you have to graft, you have to grind to get what you want. But they are the same as what you're saying, Sam. It's like when I had my first son, it was in that limbo of like, should I just go down a route where I'm going into a job 9 to 5 that I don't necessarily love, but it's maybe going to give me that consistency, pay the mortgage, or do I pursue my passion and just open a shop and open a salon and see how it goes and what's there really to lose? And that was the same. And it was my son, that he was 10 months at the time, and I thought, he's my reason, he's my why. And now I've got 2. So I'm like, you know, it's, yeah, so. And it's difficult when you've got kids. It's so hard, the balance, yeah. I feel like the mum guilt as well, like that kicks in because you want to provide that amazing future for your children. But at the same time, it's like trying to get the balance of being a present mum, but also running a business. It's really difficult.
Because how do you separate the two, and how do you make sure that you're doing it, being the best that you can be at both? And it's getting that balance. And I don't think anybody gets it 100% right.
I think it constantly changes as well. You'll think you've cracked one way of working, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, actually I want to do it this way. And then you change again. There's no right or wrong. It's just whatever fits you in your business and the life you want to live, really, I think. Yeah.
And you learn as you go in. What's your biggest achievement, Emily? What would you say?
I would say, again, my son. Obviously, boy mums. But yeah, pushing is probably the energy they bring into the house. It's like, okay, well, I need to be this crazy. But again, he's pushed me to work harder, be harder on myself for him. You know, when you do become a parent, you are tired, you do have less energy, you do have less ambition because you're just trying to survive some days. But the love that I have for him, it makes me want to keep at it. You know, when I went on to my maternity leave, I felt like I just disappeared into the background and I kind of just like floated into the sky and just let everything go, and I hated it. And when I came back, I think my biggest achievement was getting fully booked courses, teaching loads of students, you know, constantly having my DMs with queries, inquiries. And I felt proud because I just thought, I've done it. I've managed to get that support. I've managed to get people that want to kind of invest in me and want me as their teacher. And that was my biggest achievement. You know, when I look through all of my files and how many people that I've taught over the years, I think, wow, like these people invested in me as a person. And I think that's my biggest achievement because I never in a million years would have thought that.
Yeah. It's nice though, they chose you as well. They chose you over other people in your area. Sienna, what's your biggest achievement?
Oh, my biggest achievement is, like yourself saying, regards to like my DMs being full. With my parents, when I was employed as a hairdresser, I went self-employed within a year. After a year, shall I say? Sorry, I'm not getting my words out very well. So yeah, I went self-employed after a year, and they weren't for it. They were a bit like, I don't know, you're not going to do very well. Like you know, it's too soon, and just felt like I hadn't built up a clientele, which I hadn't. But I just thought, you know what, I'm going to prove them wrong. I was maybe more determined. So I was handing out flyers and leaflets and leaving people cars doors, posting through letterboxes. And I was like, I'm going to prove them. I'm going to be fully booked like in a matter of months. And I did it. And it has been consistent ever since. I've never dipped. And I say that's my biggest, achievement. But also then bought my 4-bed house, which that was on my own. And I never thought I'd ever do that. And yeah, that was probably my biggest achievement, to still sustain that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you.
That's brilliant. So if we think about the type of things that have made your journey what it is, what shaped you into the hair extension specialist you are? I know you spoke about your children and you know, that passion, but what would you say is the biggest thing that shaped you? Sam?
Okay, the biggest thing that has shaped me is, I think, other hairstylists. I take a lot of inspiration from other people. I'm constantly inspired by other hairstylists and hair extension specialists. I think the power of social media and seeing other people's incredible work on Instagram or YouTube or, you know, now TikTok really inspires me to do better, be better, and every single day set a goal for myself to be better than the day before, you know? So I think for me, it's just other people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's you know, sometimes just taking that from other people and then creating this sort of energy that we've got today, just for me, that is what is shaping our futures together. And we've got some really exciting plans moving forward. But I think this is quite a pivotal moment at the minute. It's just bringing us all together and us all just bringing this amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. What would you say, Jaclyn?
I mean, yeah, I feel like my students really do like power me on, because I think as an educator as well, you're always like, you're putting immense pressure under yourself and you're like, you just want to deliver, then over deliver and deliver even more. And I feel like they proper inspire me to keep going and to keep evolving. Like, I brought out my own online course this year, and they just forever inspire me to keep teaching. So yeah, they inspire me. Other incredible like hair extension specialists all over the world, and it is just like Sam says, it's like the power of social media. It's amazing. Everybody's like up in their game, and I'm like here for it. I'm totally here for it.
It's so inspiring.
Oh, it's amazing.
Thank you.
I love it.
To kind of progress yourself, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Especially if you're having like flat weeks and you're feeling a bit like, I'm exhausted being a content creator, and or like my views are terrible at the moment. I'm not going to do it anymore. And then you see like one of your industry friends do something, you're like, no, I need to do them. So I need to do something else. Yeah, yeah.
So Sam, how would you say your approach to hair extensions has changed over the years since you first started to now?
Oh, it has changed massively. I think at the start, I was so focused on like the before and the after, right? Because when I started, it was very stagnant images. So even when I was posting online, it was before and after. So I was heavily focused on that. And now I am so much more interested by the under the hood, right? How do the hair extensions look under the hood? How do those hair extensions grow out? How is the health of your client's scalp and natural hair? So now I'm, amazing before and after is still great. But I think as a specialist, it's so much more important to focus on that technical side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think education is now a massive thing on social media, and it's so important to get that under the hood video content as well as the images. And it's all about making sure that we're pushing out how good we are under the hood, because anybody can take a picture of what the hair looks like before, what it looks like after, and you can make anybody's hair look stunning with a wand and a set of straighteners, and that's fine. But it's that in-between bit, and that's what sets you all apart from everybody else in the industry. I think it's showing what you do, how you do it. And I think that's the most powerful part, and I think that's why you've all grown the way you have, because of your content and your education that you're putting out to everybody. So thank you. Jaclyn, what would you say?
Yeah, I feel like especially now I like to show the journey. I'm a sucker for a CapCut edit, and it takes me legitimately about 4 hours to edit it, but it's like putting a 4-hour appointment into like a 30-second video is the hardest thing, but I've nailed it now. But every Saturday night Stephen's like, oh, is that you editing another video? I'm like, yeah. But it's showing that journey. And especially what I do as well, like I'm getting the most vulnerable clients in my chair who are going through hair loss, and it is such a commitment to get mesh integration done. So if I can share a little bit of the journey of what it actually looks like, it gives my clients confidence, and then the other stylists who want to learn it, they're like, actually, that's something that I want to offer. So it's important, like you say, Sam, not to just be before, after, before. Nobody wants to see that these days. They want to see the journey.
We've gone past that, I think.
Yeah.
Past that. Emily, what do you think?
Yeah, and I think the things that have evolved in the industry are the accessibility of watching how people fit extensions, because like you said, Sam, everything was static. It was just pictures on Instagram and Facebook, and it was the before and after, and no one really knew how others were fitting and how they were working. And it does kind of spur you on to be better at your trade, because you're seeing these different ways of doing an anchor, or different types of extensions that are out, or there's problems that have happened that have gone all over, like viral online, and it's educating people better. Whereas when I first started, it was just Facebook. I didn't even have an Instagram account. It was that long ago. And I just had my before and after and like a short text, and that was it. And I kind of had to do a lot of my consultation there and then, like in person at that time. Whereas now our audience are so much more educated before they even come to us. Like our clients know so much more, which is quite a good thing, because they never did before. So it's quite, when you get to know it all. Yeah, but it is quite good now, because when extensions would be more expensive, they were quite shocked. I'm finding now people are more accepting of the price, because they kind of know now.
Know what goes into it.
Yeah, whereas before it was like, how much? And I was like, yes, that is how much they are. And yeah, that's what I kind of like now about what's evolving, and people are more aware of the industry in a positive way sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I love watching your consultations when you do it. Yeah, I think it's so powerful. And the relationship you've got with your client base.
It was just something that naturally happened, to be fair. Like, I never set out to really be that on camera. It was just sort of, obviously, that's all I'd watch on TikTok. I love watching people and how they get to their end result of like, kind of, what conversation happened in order for that to happen. And I think I just was like, I was doing all of my under the hood videos and everything like that. And it was a bit more of I'm showing you how I can do it, but I actually want to show you what happens when I do it as well. Like, kind of, I am quite good at it at the end of it, rather than just putting a row in kind of thing. So I ended up just being like, right, I'm going to try and show the after, but rather than being a static image. And it just kind of like grew from there. Like, everyone seems to really like them. So, and yeah, it is. Yeah. And I think I just try and keep it as calm and as like fluid and authentic as possible, really. And it's also like just getting normal people in the chair. Not everyone is a model. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what's nice. It's just like a normal person coming to a normal appointment, and it's just being filmed.
And you can, the relationship you've got with your client base is so powerful to watch, because you can see them all like friends, which I think we all know that was being part of the industry. Your clients are not just your clients. And I think that's evolved over time as well. There used to be more of a barrier between client, hair extension specialist or hairdresser. I think that's evolving massively, because they do become your friends, don't they?
Yeah, there used to be like a thing where you have to keep things, sorry, Sam. There used to be a thing where you have to keep professional and like your business and your personal life separate. But now I feel like it's okay to, it's less informative. Yeah, I think it's better.
Sam, what were you going to say then? Sorry.
I was just agreeing with you. Totally agree.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you were going to sum up the biggest lesson that you've learned so far within your career as a hair extension specialist, let's talk about that, because I think that makes you a stronger person in your life as well as in your career. So I think if we can just have a little chat about, what's the strongest lesson that you've learned from any mistakes you've made, or from anything that you feel that, has happened within your career so far, your journey. What's the biggest thing, would you say?
The biggest thing for me, and then something that I always tell other people, is to don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fail, and don't be afraid to start again. I think I've had to start again so many times, and then every single time I've had to start again, it's just gotten better and better and better. So I think I always tell people that don't be afraid to fail. And then, your biggest accomplishments are always born out of failure. I think my favorite quote that I tell people as well, even people that I'm training, is sometimes you're in this place and it feels really dark and you feel like you've been buried, but actually you've been planted and you're about to grow and you're about to flourish and you're going to have the most amazing career ever. I think I've failed more times than I can count, but every time it makes me stronger, and it makes me hard for a little bit, but I'm such a soft person. So then I'll come back round again and I'm like, okay, how can I grow from this? How can I learn? And also, how can I be the best educator and be humble and really relate to my students as well? Because I know how it is to start from the bottom. I know how it is to start from nowhere. So how can I bring that softness to my students? And just be like, don't worry, it's okay to fail. It's okay if you're not going to get this weft right the first time or the second time or the third time. Don't worry, because you'll get there. Just give yourself the time and allow yourself the time.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And it's so important to do that. It's so important to reflect and to look back on that and to see where you've become stronger, because that moves you forward as well, doesn't it? I think that makes you a stronger person in business and within your personal life. 100%. Jaclyn, what would you say?
I mean, like, there's so many lessons that you learn over the years, isn't there? But I think, sacrificing your happiness for certain things, you know? Like, if something's obviously, like, maybe making you feel a bit drained and you feel like you've maybe not got boundaries and, you know, you're naturally a people pleaser, and actually being a people pleaser isn't a positive thing. And people pleasing sometimes actually, like I say, it does sacrifice your own mental health. It can sacrifice your own happiness. And I feel like starting to get boundaries in your life is a really positive thing, like, to take away from business, you know. Stand by your word, stand by your ground, and you know, you can be, we were discussing this earlier, that you can be transparent, but you can also be polite at the same time, and it's just you standing up for what your boundaries are or not. So yeah, I feel like people pleasing's definitely been something that I've grown.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I love that. That's brilliant. Emily, what would you say?
I forgot the question. I remember saying, like, what is the question? I was so literally...
Biggest lesson.
Biggest lesson. To listen. No, I don't.
Stands out.
The lesson that I like to teach to my students is very similar to what you guys have said. Be kind to yourself. Take your time. You are not going to be fully booked for a good few years. You have to post every day. You have to be seen. You have to work on it. It's not going, you know, I can teach you the skill, but I'm not going to build your business. It's like, you know, with looking after hair extensions, I say to my clients, I'm going to fit them and tell you how to look after them, but it's up to you as to how well you look after them. It's like when you go to B&Q and buy a plant, you're not going to take it home and hope that B&Q is still looking after it for you. You've got to like literally cater for it and look after it. And this is what I say to my students is, you just focus on be on your one level, on your one lane, and just work hard. And I promise you, you will get to where you want to be if you keep going. The moment you stop, that's it. It's not going to go anywhere.
And would you say there's a standout from your career so far that has been outstanding there to something that you've learned from that's really shaped the way that you've moved forward?
I think like what Jaclyn says, lots of little lessons that I've learned over the time as to how I do things. Like, I've been to terrible training courses and it's shaped the way I teach. And at first I thought, it's such a waste of money. But actually it's probably a good investment for me to actually figure out what I don't want to teach. So those are the kind of things that I'm not annoyed with anymore. At the time I thought, that's taught me a lesson not to book X, Y, Z, but I think it's shaped me as a better person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a two thing. I would say social media, I've had to learn to sort of just get on with it a little bit more, in a way of, I used to just compare myself to everyone. And I think one of the biggest lessons was just like, you don't have to do everything. You don't have to be amazing at everything. Like, choose your lane and kind of like go with that. And I think part way through my career, obviously I started with bonds, and then I just kind of try and jump on everything else that was going crazy and be like, oh, everyone seems to be wanting that now, so I need to do that. And I found I kind of lost myself a little bit, I think. And I lost myself for quite a long time until I sort of like looked myself in the mirror a bit with like, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? And kind of what kind of stylist do you want to be? And I think as soon as I did that, I was like, actually, it's changed the game since I've like really looked at what I want to do and sort of where I want to go. So I think taking yourself away from watching everyone else, as much as it's inspiring, but I think it can really consume you at the same time. So I think I've learned to kind of watch the right people, not the wrong people, if that makes sense.
And self-reflection.
Yeah,
always a great.
Yeah, I've done a lot of that this year, and I feel like as scary as it is, and it can get quite deep and quite dark, but again, like you come out the other end, you really do.
And it's so empowering to come out of the other end.
Yeah, I didn't want to, but then I feel like you have to kind of do these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're like a butterfly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great way of putting it. Yeah, definitely.
What I'd say is that I've learned to you can't please everybody. And I mean, like, you will have clients that you're not going to please all the time, but you learn from them and you will then just grow and become better over time. And I do think that comes with years of experience, or just more experience. Depends how much you want to be flat out of work. But I just feel like it shouldn't take a knock-on effect on how you are as a hairdresser, and just to rise above it. But I also would say is just stick to, like you say, stick to your own lane. Like, I post what I like to attract. So I love doing lived in colour. I love doing hair extensions. And so I only post that. So I attract that clientele. And yeah, so far, every day's a good day.
I think it's really interesting what you say there about trying to please everybody. Because when you first start in hair extensions, you feel like you've got to be the best person in the world at hair extensions, but you can't do that straight away. It's a natural progression over time.
Mistakes, but you know, it happens, and you just think, right, what can I do next time to make sure that doesn't happen again? And yeah, so
I think the more you own that you're still learning as well, the more people are kinder to you. So if you go in like clients thinking you've been doing this years and you've been doing it a month, they know what to expect. Obviously you don't undersell yourself or anything, but I think you have to be a bit soft with yourself and be honest with people and say, look, I'm just going to try all this today, and like, you let me know what your feedback kind of thing.
And I think it's transparency again, into like Jaclyn was saying about not being transparent. It's being transparent all around, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's where your relationships. Yeah.
Because I think if you try and pretend you're something you're not, and you try and pretend that you're the best that you can possibly be,
you put yourself under so much pressure. So much pressure. I say it to my students about their models. I say, tell them, you are my first model and I'm nervous and I'm going to read through my manual and I'm going to take my time. I hope you don't mind, because at the end of the day, if they don't want to be a model, they can go to and pay someone full price. But if you pretend you know it all, they're going to expect you to know it all. So just make sure that you are transparent, you're honest, and it'll be a much nicer, kinder experience for you.
As we grow, I think the power of saying no, right? How important is that to remember? The power of saying no, and the power of being like, actually, I don't know how to do that. Let me redirect you to someone else that's a specialist and they're going to do a better job than I am, you know? I think that's powerful as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And that's what, when you feel like, you know, you're established and you know your nation, and that's so empowering that you get to a stage where it's like collaboration over competition any day of the week. And I just find it's the most empowering thing, and something that I've just absolutely loved, like connecting with so many other businesses and being able to like share their other businesses. Like this morning I had a DM and it was a client all the way in like Toronto, and she's like, do you know who specialises in mesh integration? I'm like, yeah, like, do you know? And it's just amazing to be able to like share other businesses with everybody. And it's so empowering.
And 10 years ago, that would never have happened.
I mean, I wouldn't lie to Toronto to do someone's hair, but, you know, being able to actually connect with other businesses and be able to share their business and is just amazing.
I think the industry now is becoming a lot more kinder towards other hairdressers as well, aren't they? I feel like years ago everyone was competitive and like don't want to share anything.
I think that's college really though. College did that to us.
Yeah, I think so too. But now, like, I feel like the industry, everyone's come together, everyone's sharing clients, and like you say, people reach out and be like, do you know anyone in the Midlands? And I'm like, yeah, I know. And you do just pass on details, and it creates a much better industry, doesn't it?
It makes us more powerful, doesn't it, as an industry? We come together, we support each other, and God knows what's going to come to us in the future, but how exciting.
Yeah, it might open doors, and just being kind and be like,
oh, we've evolved from 10 years ago to where we are now. What's it going to be like in 10 years to come? That's the exciting part for me, is to see where we go next. Well, thanks very much, ladies. That was amazing. It was great insight into who you are and what you do, and just a little bit more about yourselves. So thank you very much.
Thanks, you.